All
Let me
right, it
see
should say
here.
that we're recording now.
I can't unmute myself. Yeah, I actually don't see the option to unmute you, so we'll just say welcome, Mark.
There we go. Oh,
There we go. Hey guys.
yay! We have Mark on here.
Mark is an official
Congrats.
member of the Skool team, for those of you who don't know
Yes.
him yet. So whenever you see him posting on Skool, say hello, give him a like.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share screen. All right, so when we get started with coming to Skool, you're obviously going to come to create your own community. And you have the two options, the $9 plan and the $99 plan. What we're going to share here, we're going to go over both, whether you have the hobby plan or the pro plan. And the one thing that I do want to say is while you're on trial, you can't set your custom URL. And if you were ever to start on a 99 and you were to downgrade, then your URL is going to change. So I recommend just not changing your URL until you're really sure what you want it to be. And it's going to be the name that you set it with. So, like, if I was to come in here and I was going to put in a name for the group, then that is going to be what it shows up in the URL. So make sure this part where your name is something that you're okay with since you're not setting a custom URL yet. I've already gone through this and we're just doing Skool 101. And you'll see it says Skool 101 with Jenna. And let's go through the very first thing that I would do as soon as I set up a community is I'm going to go to the group settings. I'm going to come down to plugins and I'm going to turn on membership questions. Because as soon as somebody starts to request joining the community, they're going to have the questions pop up. And if you didn't set these up, you can't add them and then have them fill them in. So I go with email. Some people would like to put like, what is your email? Or they add extra stuff. I just keep it simple because people understand that. And then one really good one is from Matt for understanding where the people are coming from. So it's like, how did you find us?
Yep. So I like to give people a little bit of direction there and say, did you find us on Skool? Did you hear about us through AI? Did you see me on social media? You want to give them a little bit of a hint.
Mm-hmm. All right. And I like to use text box because they'll give you more information that way. And then I also, this is one of my favorite ones, is what are you excited to learn here? And maybe it's not about learning. So you'd be like, what are you excited about this group? All of that stuff would be perfectly fine if it's like a hobby. But what are you excited to learn here helps me understand what they think is in the group before they join the group. So it helps me know if my messaging is on point. It also lets me know what topics they want to hear about. And that's going to be really helpful for creating your posts. So those are the membership questions, and we're going to turn them on. And let me send this over to Matt. Okay, and then he's going to request to join. I'm going to show you how you set somebody up as an admin and also review the membership questions.
All right. I've officially requested to join. Let's see if we get accepted, guys. Fingers crossed, huh?
We're going to ban him. Just kidding. All right. So when I come over here, we see email. It says Matt Burns. And then we see he heard about it from Skool and he's excited to learn all things Skool. If you're wondering if, like, all these are great answers, but if it said something that felt out of alignment where
Sus.
it says, like, he says it's Austin, Texas is right here, but he told me that he's in California. I'm like, let me check. And so you could come over here, click on chat, and it will tell you the location. And then the other thing that you can do is you can go check out their profile. He's got a lot of green, so that's all good. And he has contributions. So I would, if it's like one or two, sometimes you want to check those out. They might just be brand new to Skool, but if you go through their contributions, like you find something and you're like, let me see, and it's just a bunch of like, hi, 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 hi. That might be somebody that's spamming.
I
But
had a
we'll
member
let Matt.
request, yeah, the other day, and it was just E, and I was like, no, I'm not going to approve you for sure.
Yeah, that's probably a little suspicious. So I'm going to come back to the members tab now. And if I want to go back and find the answers to his questions, I'm going to click on membership. It already, since we had an email formatted, it's going to put the email on the membership. But if you want to come back and look at the questions, it's going to be underneath the question section. You can also export that every once in a while if you want to just like take all that data and maybe you want to run it through ChatGPT and say, hey, what is the most important thing to all of the members? What could I be talking to them about that would really touch home for them? That is where that is very helpful. Now I'm going to make him an admin, but let's go over what the roles are. So we talk about moderator, admin, owner, and then billing manager. It's only going to have these as the options when you do a drop down. And admins cannot receive affiliate commission, neither can owners. What it is like they should have something worked out between each other to help grow the community, anyways. And so for right now, that's how that works. But a moderator could earn affiliate commission. So you could get somebody to help along the way, but still reward them that way. So I'm going to change it to an admin. And this is where you're going to see you'd have to go back in. If I wanted him to be in charge of the billing and making sure everything's going good, I could just change it and click yes to this. And he would be able to see, like if this was a paid community, he would be able to see if people had declined and the reasons why their memberships declined or the card declined. And that would allow him to do a lot of that kind of reaching out for me.
Can you
All right.
suggest, Jenna, when it would be a good time to start looking for admins and moderators?
I think it really also depends for that on how much time you have to give to your community. Because let's say I'm talking to somebody that maybe they're making like 50 grand a month, because this has happened. This is a real case scenario. They've made 50 grand a month from their current job. They're wanting to come on Skool and make a whole community so that they can leave that job, but they just don't have a lot of time. That's like when you would get an admin right away to help you, or maybe a growth operator, so that you could still be present when you have time, but they can do a lot of the community building for you. If you're starting and you're okay with like spending more time on your community and you don't need help yet, I would start to look at an admin whenever it starts to get to the point where you feel like you are not able to handle everything on your own. And that might be there's so many DMs coming in. There might be times where you have more people that have questions. If you're global, you might have people that are on a different time zone, and that would make sense to have an admin that's maybe on that time zone. What would you say, Matt, if you were thinking about getting an admin? When would you
I,
want one?
I think you nailed it. It's really going to come down to your timing. And I think the next question that you might have a little bit to expand upon as well is where would you find them? So I would think about when is am I running out of time? Do I have this feeling in my gut that my community is being underserved? Are you feel like you're
Mhm.
missing posts or you're kind of getting surprised by things? You don't notice certain comments. That's going to be a time where you might want to think about finding one. And then one of the things that we all tend to recommend, and maybe Jenna, you can add to it a little bit, is as you have a growing community, you will have more people who are interested in moderating and helping out just like we are
Mhm.
doing right now with schoolers and a lot of schoolers are doing. Schoolers is exploding. And so we have a lot of people reporting posts, making posts, managing posts, right? And so Skool
Mhm.
with the small team is able to make a lot happen. And that's how on Skool with, maybe you and just one other person, you can manage a really growing and explosive community. Would you add anything to that, Jenna?
Yeah, so something that I've done for over 10, like, oh, I would almost say 15 years, is what I call admin through action. And it's
Mm.
by, if you're wanting to be an admin, go and show up and assume the role as admin and help out so that you are the pick whenever somebody needs an admin, right? Because you're gonna, as an owner, you would want to pick somebody that knows your stuff and truly cares about the people and cares about the mission. So that's what I would do, is I would be looking through my community, see who's showing up as if they were there to help me and like have my back and have my side on it, and actually understand the information. That's the first pick. If you don't have that, then there's places that you can go find them, and sometimes they'll have it like in their bio if they professionally do this. Um, I'm going to go to settings now, and we're going to look at a couple of different things. Wow, my conversion rate is amazing. All right,
Let's
we're
keep
going
that
to
one
go
going.
exactly. So some of the first things that you'll want to do is you're going to come over to general, and you see that there's an icon, there's a cover photo, group name, and group description, and then private and public. We're not going to worry about this because we're in a free trial right now. And if you want the exact sizes for these, you can come over to, it's inside the gyms category, but I put the image size templates via Canva in here. So you can kind of like just go
So
in there.
valuable, by the way. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. You can just go in here and just choose something that goes on brand for you. But I want to talk about the importance of these. This cover photo is so important because it is what shows up when you're in discovery. And let me show you what I mean by that. So, inside Discover Communities, this is the cover photo. This is a cover photo, and this is a cover photo. So, your cover photo needs to represent and be like your first impression to the community. And then we also have this. This is the group description for each of them. This is not the about page copy. And this group description should have somebody look at it and go, I think this is me. This sounds good. I kind of want this. And so that they click on it, and then it leads them to the about page where you have more words to be able to describe what's inside, and so that they can make a clear decision. It should always bring clarity and not confusion. This is a great example. Like when I look up meal prep, you also want your keywords in your about page, and we'll go more over this in a minute. But I look at this and I search meal prep, and this is somebody that we worked with on creating their community image and their words. So meal prep made fun, fast, healthy, and affordable.
Is
Eat
that
better
Rick?
without, yeah, that's Rick.
Let's go. Number one.
eat eat better without spending all day in the kitchen. So that tells me already like exactly what I'm gonna be getting in there, and it's like, well, how's he gonna do that? When I think about the, how does he do that? Or what does this involve? That's what makes me wanna go click the about page and read it. So, that's why this group description is really important, and why the cover photo is important. And then the icon is also really, I would say you wanna spend a little bit more time on that too. Let me show you what I mean by that. So here's the icon. Let me click on it, and we'll click on Rick. Because if Rick is engaging and being active inside other communities, then people might like click on their page, click on their profile. So you want it to still look good and be representative of what you're doing. And again, here's the group description. Okay.
And notice he keeps it super short and simple. You can put, I think, up to 150 characters into that description, but
Mhm.
yeah, right there under group description. But you want to keep it super actionable, super short. If you go and look at a lot of the people who are winning on School right now, they have a very, very clear, short, concise description.
Yes, I would agree. And it can kind of be cut off too. So see how this is cut
Yeah.
off? There's no way that I'm going to see that unless I click on here and then I read it over here, and that's only on a computer. It doesn't do it on the mobile. So that is another good point. So here I'm going to go over to my cover photo. Um, I put this in here. It's just to kind of give you an idea of what to do. You can just click the whole thing and then hit delete. I went ahead and made it to go on branding because we're doing Skool 101 with Jenna. And I'm going to go ahead and download that. And then we're going to just copy this colors and stuff and go to the icon. So coming over to the icon. Am I doing this? I didn't make a copy. So you guys are going to see this. If you click on here, you'll see the bottom one, and I'll just delete the page later. Normally I make a copy. So if you're coming over here and you're trying to get a hold of these, you just hit file and then make a copy, and then you can edit it. All right. So I'm just going to blow that up. If you're not used to Canva, it's pretty easy, like self-explanatory on how you do it. And if you ever need help, you can always just ask. And because it's Skool 101, I'm probably just going to delete this bottom part. Because you're not going to see very much of this. Because the icons are so small. Let's see. Okay, now I'm not going to be picky with this because done is better than not done. All right, so we're going to come back over to the Skool. Hit upload. Cover is there. And if you have questions, Matt, can you explain that with the post?
Yep, 100%. So I just dropped a link in the chat for everybody. If you guys can go in and add questions to the post, and if you could tag me, that's even more helpful so that we know that we go in and get them answered. That way we don't miss anything, and we'll make sure to answer everything along the way. But while Jenna's doing this, I think one thing to stress, you added to that point of done is better than perfect. Thinking through and making this stuff, just enough so that you can really get started is going to give you such an advantage out there. Because when you can get just even you and two or three other people to actively start engaging on your topic, that's all it takes to have a thriving community. And so if you were speed running it, right, we're going to show you guys all the little nitty gritty details. But you could set this up in 10 minutes, right? Skool is extremely simple, but there is a lot of depth to the product. So that's what we're going to go through here right now.
And the only thing that I would ever pause and make sure that you're doing a good idea is the very beginning at the front of the creating the community is the community name. And then when you're doing a custom URL, because if you're on the 99 plan and you're going to change it to a custom URL, you only get one time that you can change it. And every time after that, you have to pay $100. So those are the only things that I think that you have to get right from the get-go. And everything else, it's you know what? You can change it. And that this is going to be ever changing. When you start a new Skool community, you're going to have a plan and that plan's going to change.
Always does.
It's happened with every single person that I've talked to, I think. All right, so now we're going to decide between a private and a public community.
I could jump in there, Jenna.
Okay, I would love to hear your take on it.
Yeah. So Jenna and I actually did a great call. So if you guys want to hear us talk about this for an extra hour and a half or so, you could see that on Schoolers. I'm sure we'll be able to provide the link here in just a second. But the way to think about private versus public is very simple. Think about the topic that your community has, and are people willing to kind of talk about that in a coffee shop? Do people get status from talking about that? Or is it something that maybe is a little bit more personal, maybe something a little bit more private, all right? Those are the things that you're going to want to think about of, do you want to have this community be public or do you want to have this community be private? There are advantages and disadvantages to both. So don't just think about what's best for you, right? Think about what's best for the community that you want to provide. There are people doing incredibly well on both public and private or either one of those things. But there are some advantages to public, like the fact that it could get picked up by Google, by Bing, by AI search engines as well, which is the conversation that Jenna and I had a couple of weeks ago. So those are just some factors that you want to consider. But ultimately, the whole lesson that we're going to keep dinging on and on again is build the best thing that you can for your people, right? So hopefully that helps in terms of that. Jenna, do you want to add anything there?
I think one of the important things is the consideration between jumping back from having a public and a private. If you started private, keep it private unless you've talked to everybody about their engagement. There's not, hopefully, this changes over time, but there's not a lot of people that feel comfortable doing engagement in a public community because anybody can see the comments and anybody can see what they've posted, like the entire conversation inside the community without even having to join. So I think public is great, but I consider it to be one of those communities for myself that I would only have as an addition to my private community. So this is talking about like having two communities. With the $9 plan, I look at it as one of the cheapest ways to have marketing because you
100%.
get Google SEO and being searchable by AI like for $9 a month, and all you have to do is post stuff in there. It's crazy affordable.
Yep.
And private means like people feel comfortable asking questions. And I think when we talk about like the levels, because you talk about like level 1, level 2, level 3, and some people call level 1s lurkers. I'm not sure that I really appreciate that name, but I understand what people are saying when they talk about it, is that people don't feel comfortable asking a question. They don't want to feel stupid. They want to be like, I maybe I didn't search long enough to find an answer. Um, if you have it public, they definitely are not going to ask. If you have it private, then you can start to let people know, like, hey, there's only these people in here and we're all encouraging. If you create that environment where they feel encouraged and like no question is dumb, then they may get to the point where they finally feel comfortable saying something. I am choosing to do public on this one because that is what I'm going to use this community for, is just to get more information about school so that people can do well with school. That's kind of my mission. So it will be a public community. And let's see. You don't have to set up like payouts. You're not going to see anything on here right now, obviously, because we just started the community. I think it's important to go over this just because this is where you see the money that's going to be in your balance. Like, this is how much is in your community. This is how much is coming out in the next payout, which is every Wednesday. And this is what's pending. So, like, you might have an account balance here and then see that this is like only half. That's okay because this is going to come out on the very next one. Pricing, you can choose free, and you could add different pricing, whether it's monthly, annual, and then you have annual only or one time. I think that monthly is the best way to start if you're going to do a paid, only because make sure that this is something you want to continue to do for a whole year before you add the annual.
Yeah, very
So
much so.
if you add monthly, let's see, does it make me go through the whole setup? Let's just see. It might just do it because I've already done it. Okay, good.
And is it still the case that you can only have 20 pricing tiers? That is something that some people have run into.
We will find out.
We could test it live. So why does this apply? If you do have a paid community and you want to do things like first 10 members get it for $10, the next 10 members get it for $20, right? It's a very common strategy. It's a very effective strategy as well. Just something you need to keep in mind is the fact that Skool, I believe, currently has a limit of 20 different pricing tiers. So I think they don't want people to go too overboard because this is all payroll and things that they have to deal with. Maybe Mark, you can confirm that for us after you finish onboarding, because I know you're just getting welcomed in. But yeah, that's something to consider when it comes to thinking about the price. Oh, Sarah says, I remember when it was a limit of 10.
Okay, we're getting up there. This is the fun stuff I like doing. People used to
Go
be
in
like,
and break it.
why do you know so much about Skool? It's because, like, I'm trying to break it. Try to see all the different things. What's the possibilities? The more you go explore and the more things that you touch, like, just if you see a button, press it. Why not? Unless it's delete.
And if you see something that maybe is like a little strange or doesn't make sense, like I think yesterday a lot of folks were having some net metrics on their dashboard that were 100% incorrect. Make a post in Schoolers, tag people.
Mhm.
That's the cool thing about community is we're all building this together, right? You have a hand in doing this as well. So if you see something, as they say in New York, say something. All right, is this
Okay.
it? Let's see if they've updated it. Oh,
Oh,
looks like so. All right, guys. Well, this is the rest of the stream. We're just going to find out what the actual cap is.
we're just gonna stop there for now.
Yeah.
Um,
So you
all
looks like
right,
you're good.
so you have plenty of room for growth if you want to do like an urgency kind of thing. Um, one thing I do want to show is that if you wanted to add an annual price later, you can. So if I wanted to come in here and be like, it's a uh what's the best way to describe how to do this? I think it's if you have members in here and you notice that they start to drop off about like at the 4-month mark, then you
Yep.
can what they recommend is doing it maybe at like the 5th month or the 6th month. So if it's $10 a month, what I would do is I'd probably just go ahead and put it at 50. And yes, that's a huge discount, but you're still getting them for longer. And I mean, it's better than having them churn at the 3rd or 4th month, right?
Get the
And
data.
Mhm. Once you have, set this, like, it's making you check that this price cannot be changed, okay? This it didn't used to have this, but what happens is, like, once you set it for the annual amount for this line, you can never change it. They can always get it at that amount. Alright. And so we're on free. If you wanted to make a free community, but make it paid because you're using paid on the outside of Skool, like a different platform, or if you are doing something like I do with one of mine, is you're pre-screening them before they join, you can go to your about page, which is the next thing we're going to talk about, and you can click on this button right here and switch it to say paid. So that means that it is either paid elsewhere or you have to contact the owner to see how you can join the community. This one is free, so we're going to leave it like that. And here is the next part where it's pretty important to have these things in place because if you don't have, let's go to discovery. And discovery again is how you show up inside of Skool, and you can start to get people to join your school based on finding you in discovery. So if you want to show up there, then you need to have a minimum of so many members. It doesn't tell you, just kind of like Google SEO stuff doesn't tell you the exact specifics. It just gives you direction. So make sure you add members, you put some posts in there, and you have some activity going. But the things that you do know that you need is a group description, about page description, and images, and a cover image. So those are things that are within your control, and then you can do these as well. And it does take about 2 hours to index once you've done this. So if you've already filled everything out and you're like, I don't see myself in discovery, it's going to take about 2 hours to start to show up. All right. So with the about page image, so this would be this one right here. We're going to come back over here and just grab this because it's so much easier.
And while you're doing this, I could just talk a little bit about kind of the about page in general. So this is again going to be some of the most valuable real estate that you guys can get, other than the initial picture. This is what a vast majority of people are going to see. Everybody will see if it's private, and a vast majority will see if it's public. And so, while there isn't a horrifically wrong way to do this, right? It really depends on the kind of traffic that you're bringing in. If you are getting cold traffic, this is going to be essentially like a landing page. And what a
Mhm.
landing page is that when somebody goes from wherever they are on the internet to your about page, that's where they land. So they call it the landing page. And you want to make sure that you are able to succinctly, again, briefly describe and share with people what it is that your group's about. And I believe you've got around 1,000 characters that you could put in there. So not too long, not too short. And you'll see a lot of different strategies for how people are doing this. And a great way for you to do that is actually to go into the Schoolers community, click on a few people and look at their about page. Everybody in the Schoolers community has a group, right? And a vast majority of them probably have it listed under their profile. You can also go to the Schoolers group and look at the games tab. Look at people that are in your niche, right? Maybe you're a hobby community, maybe you're a spirituality community, maybe you're a money or tech community. Go in there and look at the about pages, especially if you see somebody who has, $15,000 of MRR. That about page is probably working a little bit, right? So it could give you some inspiration for how to make your about page. Now, don't just copy and rip it off. Of course, make your own unique version of it. But like an artist, you can go and look at the themes, right? What are they saying? What are they promising? What are they asking people to do? Everybody's going to have a different strategy. Again, it really depends on where your traffic is coming from. That's a whole nother conversation. But the about page is all of these different examples here. You can see the descriptions will lead you to these about pages, and they should tell you, hey, what are you actually going to have as an outcome for this, right? Don't talk about features. This is just general marketing principle. Many of you marketers will be familiar with this. But don't talk about features. Talk about the actual utility that people are going to get from being a part of your group. Talk about outcomes, talk about transformations, right? If you're like, you get 5 videos and you get 10 things and you get like nobody's going to really care about that. So think about what's compelling. And this is where just kind of zooming all the way back to the membership questions, this will give you great insight into what to put on that about page because people will tell you what excites them. When you have 10 people who have told you what excites them and you notice a pattern of 7 people are saying this, that's something that could be really good for your about page. Do you have anything to add to that, Jenna?
One of the things that I've always said, as far as like you could go get lots of inspiration, I've done some extra work on searching and understanding the format that they use and which because you're going to change your about page a lot. You want to have something fresh, something new too. But the frameworks that I found that have been the best, just like Matt was saying, is promise like what is the tangible thing that they're going to get when they join. And it might be it's even if it's a hobby, it might be just that you're going to be able to hang out with friends and talk about skateboarding tricks. I clearly don't skateboard because I can't think of like I'd be like peck, kick, flip up or whatever. I don't know. So you would just want to put something that's tangible that you're going to be like, you guys can share this, you can show your videos, and have fun with each other. And then the proof would be like, this is where you tell them what the promise is, like based off this is how that they can get it because somebody else has done it or you've done it. What you want to help them with is understanding that they have belief that they can get what you just promised. That's what proof is that they've heard somebody's testimonial or they've read the testimonial and it's the story that makes them put themselves in those shoes. Maybe it's something that feels really close to home for them and they go, "Oh yeah, if they can do that, I can do that." The plan is how they're going to get the promise. And then I say the most simple way for a CTA is either like join now is the best one. If you want something that's a little bit less pushy, you can just be like, I'll see you inside. And then have like your little pointing arrow. So this is, let me just, Matt, can you find this and then put this in the post that we are live in?
100%.
Okay. So these are the frameworks that I would do. Um, So I just put an image here. You can very much start just with an image. They do convert better if you have like a VSL, is what I've heard. And the VSL would be where you're talking to them. It's the video sales letter, is what that stands for. And then you could also have some proof videos. So you could have testimonials on here. One really good thing is actually just showing them what's inside your school. So if you do a Loom, and if you don't know what Loom is, it's like a little extension that you can do. And you just talk and you walk through and it's like screen sharing. and then show them like, hey, this is the classroom, here's the people, here's our leaderboards, and you put that inside, then they already know what's inside your school and they can see if that's kind of the vibe that they want. For like what you were saying about the about page is keywords are really important, because remember when we came back over here and we did meal prep, we come over here to his about page and he has the word meal prep in the about page description. And if you're not, because one thing is like a lot of times the about page describes what it is without saying what it is. So say what it is and then describe too, you know? Do you have anything to say on that?
I mean, keep it simple, right? Sarah made a good point earlier in the chat as well. Like I was talking about referencing people from the games, but you do, again, just to reiterate, very much consider where that traffic is coming from. People can have different outcomes because that traffic could be extremely warm and they've known them forever because they're following them on a sort of different channel. So just take into account where you think the majority of your traffic is going to coming from and help them get to a place of understanding as quickly as possible. That framework that you just shared, Jenna, was really, really powerful.
Thank you. I can't type and talk at the same time. So hold on 1 second.
Oh, you're good. Sandy, you're asking in the chat, my share link is not what I want. I changed my niche from original. Are you talking about the URL for your group, Sandy? Because if so, yes, you can change that one time if you are on the pro plan. Yes. So on the pro plan, you could go into your settings and actually go and change the link. If you're on hobby, no, you would need to upgrade to the pro and set it that way, or you would need to start a group. So that's how you get to change the URL of your group. And that group URL is determined by the title that you put in. So when you go and initially click create a community, that first phrase that you put in there, that's going to be your group name. Yeah, no worries. We're happy to help. Thanks for asking the question. And again, if you guys have more questions, we'll go and pull some more. Go ahead and post them in this thread, and I'll grab one more.
One thing I'm going to say is I'm not going to build this full thing out because I did see that it's 3:09 already, and there's more things that we can do, but it can be just as simple as this. So create something that's very simple and easy to understand, and then as you continue going, you can come back and change this however many times you want. I do. I change mine all the time. If I remember
Yes.
to sometimes. Like, I gotta be honest about that too. Sometimes I'll forget and then I'll need a refresher. All right. So the next thing, let's see.
One little test while you're navigating to the next thing, Jenna, just a little pro tip that I can recommend for everybody is Skool doesn't currently have a really excellent way of tracking traffic, right? Of what's working and what's not working. And so one of the cool little tricks that I like to do is to use my own referral link, which you can grab in the settings.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that as a mechanism for determining, okay, I'm going to test this link with this audience, right? Or this DM. And then once I have another member, I ask them for their referral link and I use that for additional testing for other things. So theoretically, you can go in and have all sorts of different referral links and know that, okay, if it says referred by Jenna, those are all the people that I'm talking to on Facebook. And then if it says referred by Matt, those are all the people that I'm talking to on Instagram, right? And you could do that theoretically for as many different things as you want. And so that's a strategy that I've been using to find really helpful to be able to spot check. Okay, this about page, right? I'm going to send this link while I have this about page, and then leave that for a few days or a week, right? Because you do need some time to test, and then send a different link for a different about page, and then go back and measure. You have 2 weeks later, each with a week, which one converted the best, right? If you use the same message and the same marketing and the same sort of thing. So just an idea for how you can kind of get creative with some of the features that Skool has, while they're still working to upgrade and give us more things like traffic tracking and attribution.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I want to go over is the 3 plugins that you get no matter what plan you're on, and that's, we got the membership questions ready, but then we have unlock chat at level 2 or 3, and then unlock posting at level 2 or 3. So if you have somebody in here posting immediately swear words, and you don't want that happening right as they join, you can come over to the plugins, and then you can come over to posting and turn it on, and you choose if they needed level 1 or level 2 or level 3. And what that means, because let's just see. I'm going to go over here so we have another page up. The leaderboards. So you can come to the leaderboards. You come over to this little question mark. It says 5 points to level up. This is going to tell you how Skool points work, and it is 1 like equals 1 point. So it's if you make a post and they like it, then that's a level up with 1 point. If you make a comment, that also equals 1 point. Fun fact is that Sid, that works with Skool, has never made a post ever, and he is level 8. So you don't
That's
have to
crazy.
be yeah, you don't have to be, posting to get these likes. A lot of the likes come from what the community factor is. It's actually, like, getting inside the comments and creating connection and relationships. And it's really to encourage users to produce quality content, because sometimes you'll see a post and there's, like, no likes and no comments. And that was probably a post that didn't actually hit the mark for that community. If it did and it just got buried, go and like it and comment and engage with them. But it kind of like is help self-regulating the community, because people will stop posting just fluffy stuff if they realize it's not going anywhere, you know? And
Yep.
it
And
takes
you
a lot
also
to get level 9.
it does, which by the way, congratulations on hitting that. What was it this past month? So shout out
Yes.
to Jenna for hitting level 9 in the schoolers community. Um,
Thank you.
one other thing to add is that you have a lot of mechanisms for supporting this, right? You have pinned posts, you have pinned comments. So you have ways of not only teaching people about this, but encouraging the right behavior. So like I think Mark, you got a pinned comment the other day, right? And now you hit level 5 or level 6.
Mhm.
So those are the kind of things that when you do see that right behavior, use those mechanisms to reward your members.
Exactly. That's a really good point, because praising does a lot more than, correcting, you know?
And they get
Like, if
notified about it, right?
yeah, you get a notification and it's like, "Ta-da!" I love it. Okay, so this is gonna help with spam, and it also helps with, getting people to start being community focused. I put it at level 2 when it comes to posting, because I think if they've hit 5 likes, and if you're in a really big community, you might have to do it at a level 3, but if they hit 5 likes, I'm totally okay if they're posting. I put chat at level 3, and here's why. I don't think that there's a reason for people to DM other members inside your Skool community until they've actually gotten to know them, and it only takes 20 points to get to level 3. So that means that they should have been talking and having a conversation before they're actually going to the DMs. Because you that helps not only with spam, but also people not getting, like, pushy marketing. Like, did they come in to just try to take your members into a different place? So that's my philosophy on it. There's other people that don't like that. They just wanna keep both of those off, and you make the choice for your own community. That is what I do, though. And because this is a public community, and because I have the pro options, because I did the 99, I'm gonna put on, what's called instant approval. But before I do this, and because I'm using it for public, I'm actually gonna come over to my categories, and I'm going to edit this to be only admins can post. We're gonna do it as new. So no matter what I put in here, the only way, and because I'm using it for SEO and stuff, and I only want things categorized in my community based off of, like, what I'm teaching for this, because 'cause I'm kind of treating a public community like a, would you call it like a newsletter or a blog or something like that, Matt?
Yep.
Okay, so they can come comment and ask questions, but then I'm the one that's posting to make sure that everything that's categorized with my community is accurate to what I'm teaching.
So that's just another thing to think through is like, what is the use case that you're getting out of Skool? The one that I would say 99% of people are using is I want to have a community, right? But given that there are all sorts of different features and additions to Skool, there are lots of new ways to use it, right? Like I'm thinking now, with the $9 plan, I actually want to have a group for my family, and I want to use it as a way for us to share pictures and videos and just have that locked down. It's just going to be, Casa de la Burns, right? There's also ways that you can use it with your company, right? So if you're using
Mhm.
it as like an internal chat, right? Think about any of these sorts of scenarios. There's all kinds of ways that people would want to be able to use this kind of space. And so Jenna's using one of the newer ones, right? Which is, hey, I'm going to actually control who posts. Only I am going to be able to post, at least in this current iteration, and use it more like a blog. So there's lots of different ways to use Skool. You just got to kind of think a little bit outside the box.
Yeah, and it's a traffic source. So a whole like I'm going to eventually make some more information about this, but if you had like a business that wanted to get better SEO for their business in the local area, this is how they would do it, and they would control who's able to post, or they could even have one category. So let's go back to the categories, and it could be like um let's say it's a cafe, so it's like cafe reviews. So if they want reviews showing up publicly, then they could make it where members can go and put their reviews on there. So just another thought process on how you could use this. Back to the plugins, I did turn on the instant approval, and I'm okay with that because as soon as the instant approval comes through, everybody's already still asking those membership questions. If I'm doing the public community and I want people to join, rather than just reading everything there, I would go to the classroom and I would put something behind a level unlock, which is like just even level unlock one. And it could be, I don't know, like inviting your first 10 members. And so I could put some information in here. It's not paid, it's just that they have to join for being able to access that. And you'd have to put all that stuff in there. So it's going to show up red.
And
We'll
just
go
to
through
confirm,
it.
Jenna, if you're in a public group and you make a classroom that's locked behind level one, what do people
Mhm.
see?
That's a good question. Let's go look at that in just a second. Let me do this so I don't mess this up.
So the level rewards can be used for all sorts of different things. And those could be what in marketing terms you might call like a lead magnet, right?
Mhm.
But you would think of those as like, what is the incentive for somebody to join your group if it's public? Well, maybe there's a list of resources that is free for anybody to access, but you do have to join the community to be able to get it. So you could use a level one lock, which means that as soon as you join the community, if it's instant approval, you can get everything that you want right away. But you would have to join the community to be able to see it. Is that's how, at least how I understand it looks. I do believe it says it's locked behind level one, even if it's a public group.
Yes, I think so. I'm going to show you guys in the incognito mode real quick. Let me just.
This
Make it
is
look
Jenna
better.
here showing done is better than perfect, right, Jenna?
Yeah. Just slightly.
You got to
Otherwise, it
get that
might
little
give me
line from Canva going. There you go. There you go.
right there. Okay. Oh, that's what it'll go with. Oh, well. All right, so we're going to come back to the classroom. If you want to edit this, it's the three dots right here. So let's say you did the done better than perfect thing. You come over here and then you can add by uploading. And by the way, you may have seen previously that I had an issue when I was on the about page with the image not uploading. I just refreshed my screen. Sometimes it's just like refreshing your screen will help and figure it out. And if it doesn't work, then I would reach out to support. And then just join the community
And considering
to
the like
unlock
insane
this.
level of traffic Skool is getting right now, I'm amazed anything on the platform works.
Right. Okay, so see, it's very clear. Join the community to unlock this. It's behind level 1. We're going to come back over here to School 101 because it is public. Let's refresh this. Come to the classroom and see it says unlock at level 1.
There you go.
So I would be prompted to log into Skool or sign up and make a new community to join this, and then it would ask me the membership questions and all of that. All right, let's come back over here and go back to plugins. Is there anything that we needed to do? If you're on a free trial, whether like no matter how long the trial is going, one thing that's really helpful if you're going to do pro or if you have that longer period of time is clicking on this and setting up your metapixel. There is even, you can go on the help center and there's a whole video from Sam Evans on how to set this up, even if you don't plan on doing ads. Okay. I'm saying, even if you never even imagined thinking about doing ads, still set this up because you're collecting data on day 1. And this data, because a lot of times I've been the person where when I was working with clients, I'd be like, we have to hit 7 figures before you can run ads. That's how my philosophy used to be. And I have changed my philosophy because with the way that Skool converts on the about page, especially with retargeting campaigns, you can be getting leads and it saves you a lot of time and effort just by doing like a retargeting metapixel thing. So connect this like from the get-go is what I would recommend. And that is for pro plans only, because all of these, you'll see that these are the pros. If you don't have that, just continue to work on getting your community up and going to the point where you would want to switch over to pro. All right, and then there's cancellation videos. Those are great. Links are also good, especially if you're using a public community. So like for me, if this is a public to bring traffic and you have the pro, then you use these links to send them to show them like to go over to your community. It could also even be like start a school, start your own school. And then you can go grab your own. Let's see, how am I going to do this? 1 second.
You are all good. Just to one more thing to add to what you were talking about, with it comes to the pixels. I guess like Jenna hit the nail on the head. I would do it for Google as well, and it's for the exact same reason. You absolutely want to make sure that you have that data available for you if you ever need it in the future, because it is going to make your life so much easier to be able to do it. And I, as a completely non-technical person, by the way, I just went in and set up the Facebook and Google Pixels on a community a couple of days ago. And the help docs are, I would say, about 80% accurate right now because the platforms have updated to change where things are, what things click on, right? It's not absolutely perfect like it used to be. That being said, just use AI to kind of walk you through and guide you through it. Again, this is something that for me would be very confusing, but I just walked through the help docs and listened to what Sam had to say. And then when the second something deviated, I would go into Claude or ChatGPT and I would say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. This is exactly what I'm trying to build. Can you please help me find out where this next step is that's missing? And I found it bulletproof every time. So if you are going to set this up and you run into trouble, try AI first before you do reach out to the support team, because I'm sure the support team is dealing with quite a little bit right now. There's only like 1,000 communities an hour or something joining. So that is something to do. But I would recommend, again, it is really valuable, even if you never think that you are going to be running ads, to be able to have that data. Facebook and Google having that data for you means that you'll be able to get qualified members very quickly if you do ever decide to turn on like a retargeting campaign or anything like that. So just wanted to double click on that. Back to you, Jenna.
Yes. And then also, if you don't have these plugins because you have a hobby plan, that's where those membership questions, making sure that you have really good ones, helps, because not only through your membership questions, but also your posts, you can start to learn who your avatar is based on who is joining the community. So when I'm adding this link, there's the option for private or public. I'm doing public because this is a public community. And then private would probably be if you had like there's people that do secret communities where you can only access this community once you've known, and they keep it off of discovery and stuff like that. So there's only some moments where you would put something like a private link. Or another point to this is that when you have somebody on your page, you really want to take away any kind of like extra options. So if I was like, so I see discount codes right here, before, even though this is free, I would be like, I'd look at this, then I'd go to join this, and this is going to distract me and make me go click discount codes before I even join the group. So that's just something to think about when you're trying to choose between private and public for these. So we'll just add that. And let's go back. I think that's pretty much it. So tabs, we have the classroom, the calendar, and the map. So if you, as far as the map goes, you get to set your own location inside your user menu. So let's go to that. To get to your user menu, this is profile, which is what everybody can see. To get to your profile that you can change, you got to go to settings and then click onto profile. And so you can change your map location and move it around. I have mine in Antarctica. I was the first one in Antarctica. Um, I'm not actually in Antarctica, but uh,
We don't know that. Yeah.
yeah, you don't know that. I could be a penguin. So it'll show all these different places and locations. So there's we have Matt. He's actually in Texas, just like he said he was.
That's very true,
And
y'all. You couldn't tell by my accent?
right. I saw that one ad where you were using your accent, and I was
Oh,
like, "Oh
you
my
did?
goodness." Yeah.
I can't believe
It
they
was
ran that
funny.
one. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
And if you
One
don't
thing
want
about
the
this.
map,
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, you're hitting it, Jenna. Go ahead.
okay, so if you don't want the map in your community, you can turn it off. It just really, you have to decide what you want your focus to be on. In-person meetups are pretty cool, especially because who knows, you could be helping people make like lifelong friendships. But what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, in order to get started, genuinely, and you can. People might disagree. Also, if there's some rebuttal, I think that's fine. Just get a couple people in here and turn everything off. You don't need a classroom or a calendar to get started. It can be a cool upgrade once you get a few people in the door. And so you can say, hey, I just opened up the classroom. There's a couple of new things in here based off of what you guys asked me about, right? Oh, guys, I actually just opened up the calendar. It's because we had a few people that want to hang out and make a connection call, right? It doesn't have to be anything super complicated. I see so many new members getting maybe a little bit stressed or hesitant or delaying things because they see those empty spaces and they think, I got to fill them up. You can actually just go in and turn them off and bring them out when you're ready to get started.
Another point to that is that, like, you don't have to have content created. Like, I would recommend at least having the theme of what your community is going to be about, having at least a couple of posts that they could talk about, but you don't have to have any content to start inviting people. If you start inviting people and get the conversation going, because this is a community, which is different than just being like a coaching or a course platform, which you can use it for that. But if you want to get the community activated, get them talking with each other, your whole goal in the beginning is to make friends and make connections. The more that they tell you about themselves, even if they're just answering a question, it's like, so, hey, what's your favorite thing to do on a Friday night? And they start sharing stuff. It's like, I actually like to go axe throwing. And somebody else is like, whoa, I've been wanting to do that forever. Or I do that too. Like, and then they start talking about it. They're going to make a connection and a bond. You will have better engagement. You will have better retention. You're going to have less churn, and you're going to have no problem with having people wanting to come back and refer other people because they have found a place inside your community that feels safe and makes them want to show up. It is now their hangout spot, which this is way better than hanging out like on TikTok all day or hanging out in a Facebook group and having all those distractions. It's really healthy, and it's like I find that it's a place where people can really start to enjoy being online again. So that's my 2 cents with it. But let's say I think that you should have at least one weekly call where you're connecting people. It could be a coffee chat. I do ones called community connections. I really just like people getting together and talking, but let's say you just had the pressure of having a calendar here was too much. Let me show you my little trick. So you just come over here and you write calendar. You go / calendar after your URL. And now you're going to be able to access your calendar. So it's not here. You don't have the pressure of knowing other people
Ooh,
can see it, but you could go ahead and create a coffee hour,
I
right?
didn't know about that. That's cool.
So you put coffee hour, we'll put the time as when do people normally have coffee? I have coffee all day. Let's go with 10 a.m. Maybe that's late. I don't know. You don't even have to put the Zoom link in yet, but you can just add it. Okay, so this is over. I actually have to change the date so that you can see what I want to show you. And you can come to the community and it's still going to have that there's a coffee hour happening. Now, when they click it, it will take them to the calendar. So now they'll have access to seeing the calendar from here, but it's not that big of a deal. At least they know that there's an event. And let's say that you want to work on the classroom without having any pressure of people wondering when things are going to come out. So you can do / classroom and you can start working on everything. And people won't be able to find it unless they know this little trick on how
I've
to
been
do
using
that.
Skool for years and I didn't know that. That's crazy.
I click every button and I try everything.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a great tip.
So another thing is you can keep them in draft. So if you still wanted to have the classroom tab open and they could see everything, you can just add something instead of adding a whole nother one. I'm just going to come over here. So you can just make it a draft and they will not be able to see this. So let me show you what that means. So right now it says that there's no courses yet, even if I did the / classroom. So, and now you have the freedom to just work on it. All right, let's go back here. And remember, if you have questions, if you can put them in the link that's in Schoolers. And Matt, is there any questions on that list that we could need to go over right now?
Oh, absolutely. We've got a couple here.
Okay.
And so let's see. Faith has a good one for us. It says, can you talk about the paid communities and specifically when a community says price versus paid? I do believe we covered that in the beginning, so I think we're good with that one. I'm going to check that one off. Faith, let me know if you have any other questions about that. Okay, here's one from Sarah. How important is it to be mobile friendly for images and text blocks on the about page? This is something that I chat with folks about often because as school owners, most folks are on a laptop and they don't realize it needs to be mobile friendly too. What do you think about that, Jenna?
Yes. I think that's important. And I'm trying to think about like how I would describe that.
I do believe Skool takes care of that natively inside of the app. Granted, if you have an image that has like like one of the things I constantly see people doing is
Mhm.
they screenshot testimonials in their group and they put them on the about page as an image. And those are often
Mhm.
very blurry and very hard to read.
That's a good point. Okay, we'll come back to rules later. Let's go ahead and go back to this template that I had shared with you guys. This is the correct um, dimensions for the about page. So let's say this is what I want to do as my testimonial, right? So I'm going to come over and I'm going to screenshot this. And I'm going to come back to this template. I'm going to make another one. I'm going to get rid of this. But that way it has the branding theme on the back. And I'm just going to add this and I'm going to format it to be bigger. And there you go. So I would download this and then I would come and upload it on the about page. Because if I was just to take that screenshot, actually, let's go ahead and show you the difference. Will you make sure that everybody's in if they're still waiting?
Yep,
Matt?
everybody's here.
Perfect. So here is the difference. We'll see if it has that problem again. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that. I'm going to send this to support to let them know that it's doing that. It's not a video.
Oh, that is interesting. That's another one of those examples, guys. If you see something that's maybe a little bit unexpected, It's good to go to help.skool.com if you're thinking that. And it's not super official, by the way, but just if you look at my camera, you can see the group. So since Jenna made the image big and the text pretty simple, it looks really nice on the phone.
This should be the right screenshot. Okay. So when I click on this, it's going to show the full thing. If I click on this, it's still okay, but there's been times where it will show like only part of it. It's not the full thing. And so I guess this isn't the best example. I could have done it like a little bit more zoomed in so it would have been a square instead of the right size. But that's the only time that you have to worry about the differences in formatting because like you said, Skool does take care of the formatting itself. They spend a lot of time to make sure that this platform is super easy for people to not have to worry about the tech problems. Like they will take if you're wondering why features may take a little bit more extra time than you think it should. One, I have no idea how much goes into engineering, so it just takes long. But two is they are going back and forth and making sure that it works before they release it to the public, and they will test it beforehand too.
Lots and lots of stress testing.
Mhm. All right, so let's go back to here and go down to rules. Now, rules are not something that's going to just naturally show up for everybody. There's no place to click on it. This is helpful for if you are going to be giving feedback. Like, let's say I did not like this post. Cut it out with the swear words, Matt. So I come over here
Darn.
and people can report to admins. So this it will tell them which rules and it's like be positive, sir. And so when I come over here, I can look at it and I'll get one post reported by members. And if you see somebody breaking the rules, it's really, really helpful to report it for other people.
As an admin, by the way, I just got a notification on my phone the second you did that, and it says Jenna has reported a post.
Yes. And then when you delete as an admin or as a moderator or as the owner, I can select this and I can say be positive. And then it could be please don't use swear words in the community to keep it uplifting for everyone. And then when I click delete, it's going to send them an email stating why their content was deleted. It's going to give them a copy of their content so they didn't fully lose it. Because like some people will be like, well, I just wrote this long thing out. I wrote a really long post and I lost it. I didn't want to lose that. And it's like they didn't put it in like a Google Doc before or whatever. They get a copy of it with the deleted. And if you don't want feedback being sent and you just want to delete it, like you don't want to have anything sent to them, you don't have to click and you don't have to write additional feedback. It will just delete the post. It is also anonymous, so I don't know if Matt, if your email can
Yeah, let
show
me go
you what it
check.
looks like.
Let's see.
Now, if you're the only one in there that can delete, then obviously they know that it was you.
I
But
know who it was.
yeah.
Let's see. I'm just going to search it out. It says feedback on your post from Skool 101. It says, hey, Matt, your post was moderated by a group admin. Be positive. Here's your note from the admin. That's it. So it doesn't say your name, doesn't say anything about that. It just says, here's the group, here's the feedback, and here's the post.
And the whole point is to make sure that it stays neutral because you know what and this is why you won't find a button for rules anywhere, right? Skool really believes in freedom and you having the choice as an owner on how you want to set it up. But pretty much anybody that's joining a Skool community is an adult, right? We don't really need rules placed on us. You can have guidelines for your community, that's great. But you might not want it to have like that forward facing of like these are the rules for being in here,
I
it's
just
more
posted
of
a
just
screenshot of it too if you want to show the
awesome.
class.
Let's go to the meeting chat. Well, let me upload it, or
If you click the shares.zeit.com, you can just open it in a browser too. The link above that I posted.
okay. So that's what it looks like.
Yep, pretty straightforward.
So let's say, though, that you do want your rules to be seen and you want clarity. Some people want that. Totally cool. You just come over here and you can copy the link to your rules, and you could place that maybe in the plugins for that would be like a good reason for your links to be, if it's private for members only, like community guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's private, so only members can see it. And if you were in a different community and they didn't have the link, but you want to see what the rules are, you're going to come back up to the URL. You're going to go / then dash, then / then rules. And it will take you to the page that has the rules. So I do this with schoolers all the time. So I go over to school community and I do / I like to look at the leaderboards. So that's the first one. But the second one is the rules. So you can see that there's no self promotion, keep posts on topic, no low quality engagement, no thought leader articles, and don't post too much. These are really good rules. If you want to steal these rules, then go for it. Just set them up to be kind of like your vibe. One thing I will show that's in my community that I've done a little bit differently is that I have it where people can report if there's good things. So keep it kind and uplifting, no self promoting or enticing, make an effort. Okay. So these are like guideline rules. Then these are for people that think, hey, this is a comment or a post that should be pinned. They can report it and let me know, hey, I think this is a really good one that should be pinned. This is gold. This person was really super supportive to me. So these are all positive ways. And this is just, I like to lead with more of what's positive and encouraging and praising people. So this is people inside my community that can help me make sure that I am praising them when they're doing something good. And then you need to take a look, could be, this might be sus. I might think this is a bot, might be a spam, or it could be like, hey, this is really cool. I think that you should see it. They don't think that it was one of these. So it's just like an open, hey, just check this out. So those are other options that you can do for rules. Then we talked a little bit about discovery. Excuse me. I think it's important to note that it says removing inactive or level 1 members does not improve your rank. I am very big on this because, and I've shared it before, like in my community and inside schoolers, but there is a place for level 1. If we went inside schoolers right now and we go to the leaderboards, you're going to see that there's going to be a lot of level 1 members inside here. There's 89%, and that's okay, because if we had 103,000 people, or what is the member count now? Yeah, 104,000 people all posting and commenting, it would be crazy, right? And that can get crazy inside the community as well, is you're going to have your core members that are commenting and posting, and then there's other people that just like to learn, observe, and they still feel included because you've made such a like a healthy community dynamic where they don't feel like they need to do that. Maybe they show up to calls, or maybe they just DM you, but it's still really healthy for them. When I think about it, I think about my mom. So my mom is really loves what's going on in school, and or even when it comes to Facebook for her, like she wants to be connected with her friends, but she doesn't feel like it's a lot of pressure for her to post or publicly say something online. She doesn't want to get it wrong. So a lot of times if she's wanting to chat with her friends, she waits until she's at my house and asks me to help her like make a comment that looks good, or post or something like that and give updates. So she may still get lots of value from getting to be in connection with others, even if she's not posting or commenting. So that's why I'm like, don't remove your level 1s. You may have somebody's mom in there.
Speaking of getting a lot of new people in there, Dina has a great question. Can we talk a little bit about what's useful in the auto DM?
Yes. A lot of times now, so many people do different types of auto DMs. I have tested a couple of different things, and my current auto DM is redirecting them to go back to the community. In fact, we'll just go look at it real quick.
Yeah, while you're pulling that up, I think one thing to consider about this is just think about it like a party.
Mhm.
If somebody walks into your house for a party that you've spent a lot of time trying to make, let's say it's a 1920s themed mystery murder party, and you're very excited to bring people in. Can you imagine if somebody walks in the door that's maybe an invite from a friend and you're like, hey, welcome. Hey, check out this link over here where I got all these rules. And then I want you to go here and go and pose for this picture. And then I want to make sure that you grab this food. Like people are going to be super overwhelmed, right? So think about it like you're hosting a party. The probably the easiest thing would be like, hey, welcome. What are you excited to check out? What are you looking forward to? Right. So you can keep it super, super simple. Like Jenna said, there's no real like wrong way unless you're just like maybe being aggressive and swearing at people. I don't know. That sounds like a wrong way. Maybe that's the theme of the group. I don't know. But the auto DM generally, I would recommend people to really focus on what is going to get them to start talking.
Mhm. All right. I just had to stop sharing because I just had to make sure I have like a school community call that I normally have to get on at this time or coming up for schoolers. So I'm asking Andrew if I can be away from that.
If you want to make me the host and we could just keep it running till the Q&A is answered, if you got to run, Jenna, that's also fine.
Okay.
I don't know if that'll kill the call or not, but
It's on Google, so I could do that. We'll see if he
oh,
says.
nice. But yeah, that's Dina. That's how I would be thinking about the auto DM. And for anybody else who's considering it, is just what's the simplest way that I can get somebody to start talking to me, and just keep it super basic. Some people like to send links to welcome posts, classrooms, right? Encourage behavior. But I find that doesn't really work very well. I would much rather get people to talk. Now, if you don't want people to talk to you, maybe you don't have an auto DM, right? But you could also just say, "Hey, here's a link to get started. Go make it happen." But that's how I would consider it. So thank you for the great question, Dina. Hopefully that helps. And if you guys have any further follow ups, do let
Yes.
us know.
Andrew said I
And
could skip it, so I'm good.
look at you playing hooky. All right.
Yeah. Sorry, school. I love you anyways.
Sorry, school promoting school.
Let's see.
Should we move on to the next question?
Okay. Yeah. So let me go over this part
Oh
real
yeah,
quick.
go ahead.
This is the automatic one, and again, Auto DM is for the Pro membership. So it only works if you're on the Pro plan. This is what they give you. This is fine if you just want to go ahead and get started, right? I had mine for a while. I wanted to make it conversational, but then I got way too many responses where I could not keep up with them, which is a good thing, you know?
That's a great
But
problem to have.
yeah, and it was like what I when I created the one that got way too many responses is it was as if I was going to message them. I put it in jumped out of my brain of like, "Oh, this is an auto DM." And I jumped into the brain of like, "What would I actually say to somebody that's joining that if I was actually online and wanting to communicate with them?" Right? Right then and there. So it was like, "Hey, I'm really glad that you're here. Thanks for joining. I would love to know more about what you're doing on Skool." And question mark. And so,
Easy.
or like what got you started on Skool? It's
Yep.
something so simple that they can answer, and then I would go back and I'd, like, start the conversation with them, but then I ended up having 200 plus messages, and I couldn't get back to all of them, so then I felt really bad. So now mine is, "Hey, name, thank you for choosing to join," and it'll say, like, the name. "The best way to get support and build connections is by using the community tab. Post, ask questions, or share what you're working on so everybody can grow together. I'm happy you're here, and I look forward to learning more about you." So this is what I had to do to ensure that I didn't get so many messages because I just do. Like I'm usually at 99 plus. And it doesn't matter how many people I talk to, because the way that this works is, even though it's 99 plus, it doesn't say how many messages per person. It's just that's how many people have been trying to reach me. So
Jenna is in fact the coolest person on Skool. Let's just be real.
I try to get back to everybody. If I don't get back to you, I'm really sorry. It's probably buried. That is my number one feature request to Sam, is to make the messaging better. So there's that you could do, and then we went through categories, rules, discovery, metrics. You're not going to have any metrics when you first start, but this is really good to like look at. And I went through, nobody knew about this test, by the way. Nobody knew. But I went through a test of where I watched to see if my community could survive without me if something happened. And so we had like lots of green right here. And then I went kind of silent for a little bit to see what would happen. And it went down. Now, this is not what you want to see. You want to see your community still thriving without you, which for me told me that I was treating my community more like I was the coach, which is okay. But it did tell me that I need to try to work on bringing it back to life, and bringing community back to life can be pretty hard. But you do want to make it where they feel more included, and you're encouraging them to have more conversations with each other. So that's just a little tip. But you'll be able to see like how many activities you had. Like 198 is pretty good. It's not the best. Where's our brightest green? We had 1,009 activities on February 7th. I don't remember what happened that day, but I should go back and look. And having an active community is how you can also rank with discovery. So we have 2 activities because Matt posted twice inside the community. Then I deleted one, so but we still got the activity at least. And then billing is where if you're gonna wanna change your subscription, or update the payment method, you can come in here, you can go to manage subscription. Let's say I wanted to go downgrade to the $9. If I try to hit downgrade, remember you can have unlimited members, unlimited courses, one admin, and the transaction fees change. The plugins would change. I don't have a custom URL, and it wouldn't hide the suggested community tab, which if you want to know what that looks like, inside of this one, you'll see that you have suggested communities. And then if I go to downgrade, it won't let me until I change it, I think. Yes. So it's going to tell you what I would need to change. I need to get rid of Matt as an admin, and I need to turn off all my pro plugins. I'm like, nah, I'm going to keep my plan. So there's that. And then the way that automatic, like it's called auto affiliate. So I could change this to being Matt if I wanted to. Like, hey, what I'm going to do, Matt, for you is since you're being an admin, all the auto affiliates will come to you. So I click on that.
Let's
And
go.
it changes. So if I'm in this Skool community and I go to click create community right here, it's going to show that it's Matt. And that's how the auto affiliate works.
You're blowing face mind.
So that is what happens when you're on a pro plan. Now, auto affiliate does not work if you are, sorry, Matt.
It's fair.
If you're not on the pro plan. But you can still help them, like your members could still create a community underneath your affiliate link for Skool if you provide your link somewhere. And so not everybody's going to be on a computer or like the laptop, desktop, or whatever, where they can see this. So don't just rely on having your links over here, which you wouldn't be able to if you're on a hobby plan, anyways. But take your link and put it like in a post. You'd be like, start your own Skool community, or put it in a classroom where it could be like, hey, welcome to Skool 101. Here's what like the first things that you need to know. And then you also say start your own community, and you put that link inside your community so they can find it. I also, let's see.
And just for those of you really quick on the thinking about the math. So obviously the pro plan has a ton of inherent value, but it doesn't even make financial sense to have a hobby plan once you are making over $1,200 a month. So $1,200 a month, you should switch to the pro plan anyways because the fees are going to not make financial. You'll be actually losing money by being on the hobby plan.
Mhm. And so then over here, because I have people that will message me and ask me for my affiliate link, I've just tried to find ways to make it easy for them. I go down to my social links, and this is where you can find my affiliate link. So if somebody were coming over to my profile, if it does it sometime today,
That's so easy. That's a great tip.
let's see. My computer's being goofy today. Okay. Right here, all they do is they click on it and it brings them to starting a community. So that's how you do it. You go to settings, and then you're going to go over to profile, go to social links, and you can put your, if you don't have a website, just put your affiliate link in the website part. Because it's just helpful for more people that want to start a community and they want to support you. I made a post the other day about different ways that you can have your community making money from the get-go, and it could be like offering them a place to do donations. Like they want to support you, they could do buy a coffee, they can start a Skool community underneath you. And just so you know, the way that the attribution works for affiliates is it's based off of last touch. So let's say that I touched on Matt's affiliate link and I was wanting to use Matt's affiliate link for something. But then I accidentally go and click on my profile, and then it brings me and it says, Jen Austria invited you. Well, now my affiliate link is attached to them for 14 days in the cookies.
It's like tag.
So mhm. It's really important if you're inviting somebody to a different community where you're an affiliate for that community, that you give them your link and you ask them to, before you sign up, please just make sure you click my link because I will get credit for it. And that would just really help support me. So, um, people are really happy to support each other and help each other. So if you ask for that, it's not that big of a deal. And it's if it's a hobby plan, you are gonna get $4. It's like just under $4. If it is
360.
yes, 360. If it is the pro plan, you get 39 something, and that is monthly as long as they keep their community. Now, something that I recently found out, which, we always learn new things, is if they have archived their community and then they unarchive it, you're not getting that as an affiliate. So it's like the attribution cuts off when it goes into being archived. So if you want to have them re-sign up, there's a whole way. Like, let's say somebody stopped and then they're going to restart. They're going to need to restart it anyways to get the members reactivated and everything. But they can go over to the classroom, and if they want to start with your link, they would just start another one. They'd come over here and they'd do share course key and move everything over to their new community because they're restarting it anyways. So that is one way to still keep your affiliates. I think we've gone over pretty much everything inside here, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And let's go back to the post. Was there more questions that we could look at?
Yeah. We've got 2 more questions, I believe.
Okay.
So Paula has a question here. It says, with increased communities opening up on Skool, thousands an hour, it's crazy. We might experience more competition. Yes, I would say so.
Mhm.
Um, could you go over whether or not a churn video is advised and what you guys recommend as best practices for that?
All right. So, I like cancellation videos that feel no pressure, personally. I would like it to be an invite to have a conversation. So it could be like, hey, I noticed that you were going to cancel, and just for me to like to help me out, I would love to know what your reasoning was for canceling, and if I could get some feedback for you, because I want to make sure that this experience is like really good for everybody that's joining. So if you would do me that favor to just reach out to me and let me know. And if there is something that you feel like you got lost or you feel like you weren't getting enough help, please again just reach out to me, because I want to make sure that I'm doing that for my members. Like, you guys are very important to me, and I want to make sure that you're getting seen. Because I kind of try to live by the SHR method, which is seen, heard, and remembered. People want to feel seen. They want to. There's so many places where they're not feeling seen. That's why they want to join a community. First of all, they want to feel heard. So like when they said something, what they said mattered, and it was acknowledged, and it was not just listened to, but it was actually taken in and then remembered, which means it's a recall. So that's why it's really important to read everything and tie like those kind of conversations back to each other. What I do on my community connection calls is when we ask questions, I write down everybody's answer on a handwritten note. Because not because I'm going to go back and look at that note, because when I handwrite it, I'm going to remember it better. So
Different parts of the
that's kind of,
brain.
yeah, it's just part of like, I wanna make sure when they go to the cancellation video that, "Hey, I'm here, and if you wanna reach out to me, if you even if you choose to cancel, I'm not gonna try to pressure you into staying. I would just love to hear some feedback from you." There's
Yep.
other people's, like Ted Carr has one that is just full value on making sure that your bananas do not brown. Um, and so I think he's a fruitarian,
Yeah.
and so he's just teaching people that you don't lay your bananas where the curve is down, you flip them over so that the pressure is not on the banana, and then you won't have bruised bananas. That is his cancellation video. Um, and
Which you'll never see
then
bananas the same again now, by the way. So congratulations, everyone.
yep, in fact, my son watched that video with me, and we went into the grocery store, and he made us save as many bananas as we could. So, that was fun. And
Your
then
son's your son's how old again?
he's 3. He's actually turning 4 on Friday.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, a 3-year-old and I have that in common because I also went to the store and started flipping them because I just couldn't stand it, knowing
Yeah.
the damage being done.
It's like, "You gotta save the bananas." And then William Renner had one where he just serenades you, with a guitar, and it was
It's
it
beautiful.
was it was one of those, you know what? Let's see. Why not?
While you're pulling that up, one more thing about the affiliate that's really helpful, just to give you guys like a practical example, because I think that's one of the best parts about calls like these, is set and remember your Skool profile URL so that you can actually go and have conversations with people. I was having a conversation with somebody in person the other day, and I was talking about how much I love Skool, and they wanted to sign up right there while we're talking, while they're literally on their phone. And I have a website as well. So one idea that it is, if you have a website, you just make a link that is your referral link. So I just said, yeah, go to mywebsite.com/go. And that automatically redirected to my affiliate link. But what you could do is, if you don't even have a website, you could just say, hey, go to skool.com/@Burns. I don't have my affiliate link listed there just for clarity, but that's something that you could do. Find out your link, and then you could also be able to post it on people. But here, let's take a look at the churn video. Oh, Jen, if you're talking, we can't hear you. I think you're muted. I think you're still muted.
Okay, can you still Wow.
Oh, you're switching.
Now I
Yep.
can hear myself, and I don't like that.
We can hear you.
All right. So it's not gonna let me play this and talk at the same time, so we're just gonna watch it.
Let's do it.
One final time for the road. You take the man out of the city, not the city out the man. You take the man out of the city, not the city out the man. You take the man out of the city.
How could you cancel that, huh?
The city out the man. You take the man out of the back in Chicago, I feel it. Another version of me, I was in it. Oh,
All right. You should be able to hear me again, right?
Yep, we can hear you.
So I wasn't going to play the whole thing, but it's just like, it's so real, you know? And if anything, when you see that, you're going to feel really connected to that person. So for me, I was like, I ended up one of the things that you can do with your school plan is like, let's say somebody came in for free, but now they want coaching and you're doing this school community thing where you only have one. You can go to the pricing and you can switch it to whatever price you want. So I could be like, okay, make this one current. Let the person come in and then you can go back and make it free. So what I did is like the reason why I know he has this is because I upgraded to get him to do all my videos for me. So much easier. But anyways, when I saw it, I was like, I don't want to I don't want to cancel, even though I'm just canceling to rejoin anyways, because I watched the whole thing and it was really cool. But it'll ask you and it's going to tell you that the price may join later, change later. If it's a higher price, let's see. Who could I show that this would be underneath? I know the Ads Lab, yeah. So when I go to, if I was trying to cancel Ad Labs, I have a really good membership with them. I got in and I secured, locked it in. And so if I go to cancel, they've got a video, but it's going to tell me you're paying this much and it's now 99. So it's just another feature that Skool has done to make sure that you are going to be trying to retain your members if you can. So they've got your back. They've put everything in place to try to help you keep your members. So that was about the cancellation video, which is underneath plugins, and it's a pro feature, but you could turn it on and then just add it. It's videos under 2 minutes work best. They try to give you as much detail as possible. What was the next question?
So Ren has a good question here, which I believe I know the answer to. But the question is, how do I add alt text to my images? And the reason why you would want to do that is for accessibility, I do believe. And I believe the team has acknowledged that this is not possible and they're working on it, but I am more than happy to be corrected. I know that that's something that's going to be very important, especially considering, the rate at which we're growing. So that's going to be needed, but I don't know if there's a way to do that. Do you know, Jenna?
At the moment, I don't know that that is available, but I would put it as a feature request and tag Sam in it, because if he can come to it, like if he can, maybe it's already there and I'm just wrong, but if it's on the roadmap, he'll usually say like, "Hey, we'll get to this soon."
I think he
You might
mentioned
get,
that in a similar post.
yeah,
Last I
we'll get
saw.
to this soon, or that it's noted, or it's next on the roadmap, or whatever like that.
Yep.
And the more like if you see feature requests that have already been inside Skool, you can go and comment on that and just say, "Hey, is there any update?" and then just tag him too. Or Kirby.
Yeah. Where else can you go get such accessibility to the team that builds the platform?
Seriously, that's really cool.
I think we have one more.
Okay.
So Faith said you mentioned that you have questions about auto affiliate. I don't know what the question is, so feel free to update us in the chat. But you also Faith asked the last question: can I share a course key from an archived community? Which I believe the answer is yes.
We will find out.
Let's go test it.
I know it wasn't at first. I have to go over to profile. At first, it wasn't available. I know that they said that they were going to work on that. So this is my first community. No, I'm good.
Just go click anywhere. Yeah.
All right. Yep, you can. Oh,
There
this
you
is
go.
like memory lane for me.
Old school, they might say.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So we also said examples of first posts that you can make. Okay. So I don't want to show people's membership questions on mine, but let's go back here. That was like one of the things that you can do is go to the, let's just go ahead and export it so we can show what that looks like.
Crystal says, this is a great event for us newbies. We're happy to help, Crystal. Welcome to Skool.
Thank you. I'm going to save as Google Sheet. All right. Yes, leave. Okay. So what I would do if I'm trying to get like post examples and stuff, I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of these. And then now I have my question is, what are you excited to learn here? And then all things school. So if you get a bunch of things in here, it might be like inviting more members, getting more traffic. It could be whatever they're interested in. Like, what is it? I think you started a horror community, right, Matt?
I sure did.
So it might be like they're really excited to talk about like the newest Halloween movies or something coming up.
Yep. Movies, books,
Mhm.
music, games, all kinds of
So
different
you're
things.
taking this, and then you can throw it into ChatGPT and ask it. But I think that I don't know if I did this in Schoolers or if it was in my community, but I'll just go ahead and re-show how to do this. Let's go to YouTube. And I do not want to hear myself. We'll just look Skool up and let's find somebody that has a lot of views. I want to find somebody that has like a ton. Okay, we'll just go with Hormozis. So that's not a good photo to end on. Okay. We're gonna come down to show transcript. And I'm gonna just take it off the timestamps because I don't need the whole thing. Okay. User error. Okay, so I'm going to just grab the entire transcript that is available. And I'm going to come over to ChatGPT and I'm going to say, I want post ideas on this subject for my community. You can go more in depth, but this is just like the basics. Here is a video talking about school. And you can do this with any subject that you have. And I want you to understand the subject and the audience based off the transcript and comments. So I'm going to put transcript. And I could ask more things in detail, which I will probably include in a comment on this post later. And then I'm going to put comments here. So I'm going to come back to his video. I'm going to go, it says show screen transcript. Okay, don't show screen transcript. Okay, there's 534. There is a thing called vidIQ. It's also a little Chrome extension. There's a free version and there's a paid version. You can do this off of the free version. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to get regular comments and I'm just not going to filter them at all. I'm just going to go and through the entire thing till I feel like I'm tired of doing it. And I'm going to hit copy and I'm going to paste them right here. And then comments with questions. So I'm going to come back to the video. And I'm going to choose the filter that says contains questions. So, but where's the Old Spice? So how is he so magical? Like these questions might not actually help me, but the AI is going to help me filter through that. So I'm just going to let it go through, and I'm just going to start copying all of these. Because what we're doing is we're also doing what's called filling in the gap. So filling in the gap is like they just watched this video, but they still have questions. We're going to help make sure that those get answered. So we're going to come back to ChatGPT, put that in. Doesn't matter which AI you use. I want to understand what is important and what questions they still have. Give me an idea of what posts would be click worthy, because remember, you got to have a click worthy title that people are going to actually read, and be community focused while engaging. And we're going to let it do its work for us, because we could go through and try to figure this out, but we're just trying to maximize our time. And then, so it's like, where do I start? They don't know how to start. What's realistic? What's the average or the median for the monthly amount that you could be making? What's a strategy? They want to start a school, but they're not sure what the community would be about. So these are things that you could talk about, and some people will just take a post from what ChatGPT would give them, but I would recommend not doing that. I would recommend creating it from what you're getting. I use ChatGPT or any AI as an assistant, like the person that's just getting me information, so that it can still be from me. So, if I was to talk about, let's see, school versus circle, I would go through and actually write everything out that I've seen. I'd give some facts, but I would talk about my personal experience. Like when I was on circle, it was just so clunky for me, and I just never felt like I could actually connect with the people. It felt like I would rather even just get, like, can I just have a downloadable course rather than be a part of it? And that was my own experience. And I can ask, like, well, what was your experience? So then I'm also getting everybody else to engage about, like, if they've ever been on Circle.
That
If
was my
it
experience
was
too, by the way.
okay. And then your party, like if your school was a party, what would it look like? Who's invited? What's being served? You could make this fun. This is like, I'm going to be the person. Let's make my school's a potluck. We're doing a school potluck. I am bringing the nachos, I don't know. I'm bringing brisket. What would you bring? And then you could also be like, well, why would you bring that? Like, is it because you're more protein focused, or are you the one that like let's do finger foods or something? Just to make it more engaging, because it doesn't even have to be on topic for it to be a good community post. It doesn't even have to feel like it's like always value, because when you come, and we have to like change the way that we think when we're bringing stuff to school, because a lot of times we're going from social media where we're giving people updates or we're teaching them rather than being in conversation with them. So the conversation point is, we want to not just be the guru and just talk about it. Otherwise, kind of like what I mentioned before, is I noticed that when I backed away from the community a little bit to let other people talk, the decrease in conversation, the decrease in posts happened. And then when I came back, it's it's pumped up a little bit more, but I still have to redo this to where they are feeling like, oh yeah, I could post something that's silly, that's like, what type of pizza would you be if you were a school, and they might tell me that they're pineapple because they like to be controversial, who knows. So anyways, that's how I would go about it. And then you can also do valuable things where it's like, can you host videos on School? Yeah, you can. And by the way, like, Native Lives are coming out soon as well. So you're finding out the questions that they have, and you make a post about it, and it'd be like, when was your first video? Or post your first video on School in the comments below. So what do you have to say about that, Matt?
I mean, just to reiterate a couple of the points you said and add some color from experience is when you come in and you're the guru, which is where a lot of people might be starting. they're either the source of knowledge, the source of entertainment, right? The source of whatever it is, because you're trying to get this community off the ground. If you just go and give people the entire answer, that is going to be something where what is the actual response to a post like that? Thanks, great, thumbs up. It's not something that people can engage with. And so my first community, which was like a career coaching community, was all that. I basically gave away all the answers and was like, why is nobody engaging? And then I switched it a little bit and I said, okay, here's the thought or the theory. What do you guys think? What would you do to solve this? Right? Or if you posted from a place of, if you are the expert and then you ask your people for help, people love that. They actually want to get, oh my gosh, this person's asking me for help. Great. And they come in and start to participate that way. So when you create these posts, try to think a lot about, is the only response going to be thank you, thumbs up, great? Or do you want to actually provoke some questions and conversations? And one of the best ways that you could do that is by kind of taking a step down and asking people for help. Another pro tip that I waited way too long for, and I noticed expert community builders doing to me, was when you have good commenters and people who are starting to engage in your group, DM them. Say, hey, look, this post just happened. I don't want to go in and just give the answer. What do you think? Right? Go and encourage other people to go and post because maybe it's their area of expertise or maybe they've been making some really great comments. That is an honor for them. They feel really excited and happy about it. And that's a way that you can kind of drum up engagement in the early days. So those are just a couple of things that I wish I had known a lot earlier as I was getting started on Skool building communities.
I completely agree, and that brings up a good point. I'm going to give an example. Something that I did was I really love it when people ask questions in here, and I love it even more when people are coming in and helping. So I pinned this because I wanted to come back and look at it. And then when I pinned it, we got a lot of people giving more feedback and more comments so that people could see it. Because sometimes they come to your community, and mine is going to be a little bit different because people mostly come here if they're trying to learn something about school. And sometimes I have to remind them, like, hey, come back and help other people too, you know, because you guys are going to get experience as you continue on. So that's another thing that you could do is you could just let people know, hey, if I have things pinned on here, it's because I would love to have y'all give feedback as well. Um, Inviting your first members. It does not have to be that complicated. I'm probably going to make a more in-depth post. I think, didn't you also, you did something today, Matt, like how to grow your school with zero following. This is a great way to start to get more people inside your community. And I think that there's other things that I'm going to share in a little bit, maybe as a follow-up post tomorrow on inviting. But if you're just trying to get those first 3 members, which is what it says to do in this little area, which by the way, watch this 2-minute intro video. Skool just made it and it's really good.
That's great.
But if I'm trying to just get 3 people, what you want to do is you want to start thinking about, like, where do you hang out to talk about what you created your community on? So let's see, if we were going to discovery, and all right, I love calligraphy. I'm actually a part of this community. So if I wanted to talk about calligraphy, where else am I talking about it? Am I other Facebook groups? Am I on YouTube? Am I on TikTok watching calligraphy things? Or do I already have like some buddies that also do calligraphy? Well, I'm going to reach out to them and it's going to be super simple. Let's go to here and I'm just going to like type this out. I'm going to use this for typing. I'm going to say, hey, I always start with hey. Some people are like, why do you start with hey? I'm like, I don't care. It's going to be, I thought of you when I was creating my brand new community. For me, it would be about school, so that would make no sense. But let's pick another hobby about training horses. I used to do that. So training horses. I know you are also really into horses and proper ways to gentle a horse. Oh, I spelled that wrong.
While you're
And
typing that, Jenna, I can actually share my screen and show an example.
okay.
If you don't mind, I'll share it real fast.
Yeah. I'll stop sharing so that you can share.
You're good. So just to show you guys what this looks like in practice, can everybody see my screen? Hopefully, let me know if you can't. But this is the post that Jenna just shared, and essentially all I did is exactly what she's talking about. And granted, if it's a hobby community, you're probably going to get a lot more enthusiastic responses than if you're trying to get somebody to pay you out of the blue. But if you have a free community that can go and bring people inside, or a public community that maybe has some valuable things that you can put in there, you can go out and reach out to people all the time. And what a lot of people don't realize about Reddit in particular is that you could send around 80 to 100 messages a day if you have a warmed up account. Warmed up meaning it's something that you actually have used and engaged with for a couple of weeks. And I would basically send almost the exact same message. Hey, I noticed you're making these great comments and this is what I thought about it. I'm growing a community. I thought you might like to join it. If not, no worries, no pressure. Here's the link. And then people were excited. Say, hey, awesome. Thanks for noticing. I'd be glad to join. Actually, this is really interesting. I'd love to be a part of it. So it, like Jenna says, it really does not have to be complicated.
Yeah. And then there's other things, like what I would probably do is like this would be for if I was talking to somebody that I already know, right? If you're doing a different, like let's transition to, I had a Facebook group.
Do you want to
And
reshare, Jenna?
oh yeah. Haha, thank you. This is why I have you. So, all right. So this was what I would send as a friend. Like, hey, I thought of you when I was creating my brand new community on Skool about training horses. I know you were also really into horses and the proper ways to gentle a horse. I would love to have you in the community as a founding community member to help set the vibe. Would you be able to help me set the vibe in my community? Now, if I'm sending this to a friend that's already online and like we're talking about horses all the time, we're sending videos to each other. Like, did you see this TikTok? Like, oh my goodness, you need to see this or check it out. And we're both in like the comments of it or whatever. Then they're probably going to be excited to be in a place where they can help passionately share, like, hey, these are the proper ways to take care of your horse. This is the right way. You don't abuse them to get them to do what you want, you know? And this is just a nice way of inviting them also to have like a higher role as being a founding member, because your first 10 people that really start to communicate with each other, those are the people that set the core culture inside your community. So you want to make sure you get some really good people in there and that you're actively involved. One of them, by the way, one of the main problems that I've seen inside communities when I've had to do audits or give some clarity is that they post and I come back and I'm like looking inside their community and it was 12 days ago that they posted and they're like, I don't know why nobody's talking. You're not talking. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? You have to be the one that starts it, you know? And so then if I was talking to my Facebook group, I have like, I don't know, 12,000 people in there. And they are probably like, I don't just send one post out. Okay. Because Facebook has the algorithms that they might not see my post. Like that's part of the problem and why a lot of people are switching over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say probably like community update. Please follow. And I would put that as probably the title, or because I got to remember that Facebook's not going to really want to send the notification to everybody that we're leaving Facebook, right? I'm going to just say I found this new place called Skool. Skool does this, which obviously Facebook doesn't do. So that's probably going to be the first thing I lead with, is like all the things that Skool does rather than all the things I don't like about Facebook, because I want this post to go out to people. And I'm going to say I'm going to be doing over the next 10 days, I'm going to be posting more frequently to talk about what we're doing over there. because I'm not going to just send one post out. If I'm truly making a switch from my Facebook group to my school, then I am going to be talking about it the entire time. I am not going to be saying like, okay, well, I'm going to do this post in school and I'm also going to do this post in Facebook at the same time. And they're the same thing. No. If you want to see the update that we did, I'd probably just post a screenshot of like part of the post that I did in my school and say, "Hey, I'm over in school now. Please go check out the post that we did there. Here's the invite link." Just like that. So that they're transitioning over, because if you're not giving them a reason to be on school because you're posting all the same stuff on your social media, or you're posting it in your Facebook group or your circle group or your Kajabi group, wherever you're at, why do they need to learn another community? Why do they need to learn another platform? So it's that consistent, like, treating it as if this is a campaign to switch people over. Um, you could even do incentives. You could say, one of my favorite things, and it's really funny since I'm the faceless person on here, but what I used to do with people that had even just any group on any platform was to give them a reason to leave their social media and to go into the community, would be to do little daily like vlog videos. Even if it's just as simple as like they're putting their makeup on and they just want to talk to you while they're like, "Hey, I'm going to talk about this subject today, and this is a thought that I had. If you're having problems with this, this is what my solution is to it." And then it's like a 1 to maybe 3 minute video, and they just upload it. So it's new content that they're not going to get from any other platform. That's what you want inside your school to help like bring the traction for them to come over. And you talk about it. You put like a 10-second clip in an Instagram story and say, "Hey, this is the new video that's inside school. Make sure you join it." So you're just giving it top of mind that this is where I'm at now and this is where you can get more time with me. Do you have anything, Matt, on that?
No, I think you, I think you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Is there any questions that come up with when inviting more members, or do you have any more questions on traffic or anything like that, or the creating and building the school itself?
Let us know, guys. I think in terms of comprehensiveness, that we've covered the gambit here and then some. I think if I were to boil it down, it would just be what we talked about earlier, which is build the kind of place that you would want to be in, write the kind of things that you would want to reply to, and talk to people the way that you want to be talked to. It is very, very hard. It's not easy to step outside and be able to do those things, but it is ultimately very simple. And I think that's just a bit of a follow-up lesson to how Skool was built, right? They wanted to keep things really simple and straightforward so that we could have an awesome place to build communities and be together with other passionate people like us. So if there's no other questions, maybe that's a wrap on this call. Jenna, anything you wanted to add?
I think that's it. If there's other topics that you would like for us to talk about or share, I can always ask Kirby if we can do another community kind of call. Then we would love to go over that. It might be something as simple as where maybe even it's a call where people bring stuff that we can work on together. That
Yeah.
might be fun. So if you think of any of those, let us know, and I'd be happy to put it in a comment. If you message me, good luck. I will try to get to it, but
And for those of you that are here live, yes, we will be having a full recording posted before tomorrow. Is that too much pressure, Jenna, or will it be tomorrow?
it will be this evening.
Yep. So just stay tuned, guys and gals.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. I think that I accidentally made it where I can't keep the chat, so I'm going to